I want to show you Laravel Herd. Anyone already heard of it? Yeah, perfect. It was released at the LaraCon US, and today I want to show you the power of it and why you should maybe use it or maybe not use it. So let me open Warp and go to my sites directory. And the nice thing is we can start a new project. So let's call it Bern. No starter kit, obviously pest. And let's get the project running and see what's happening. Okay. And if everything was correct with the runner, we can actually visit our page now here on burn.test. Let me show you the route first. And as you can see, we have here everything running on burn.test. So if you used Valet or something like that, you already know it's actually similar thing. But the nice thing about Herd is that you don't have to get used with the CLI, let's say it like that. Because sometimes it can be pretty hard to use the CLI, especially if you're a newcomer, you don't know what you're doing. And with Laravel Herd, it's like a wrapper around Laravel Valet. It's already everything included. So you don't have to worry about the nginx configuration. You don't have to worry about DNS mask because that's here already there because we have a top level domain .test. And the nice thing is you don't have to worry about the PHP versions. So you can even switch between the PHP versions and everything is already included. So how does actually Laravel Herd do that? First of all, you have to know Laravel Herd is just a desktop application. You download it, you install it, and everything is running for PHP. You don't have to configure anything. It's just awesome. Because when I remember back in the time, like 12 years ago, when I started with PHP development, yeah, it was a bit harder to get the PHP project running. I can remember it. And as you can see, here in the General tab in the settings, we can see which sites are actually used. So you can define every sites that are used here for the routing. So when we go here in my sites folder and I do list everything, you see we have a burn folder here. And this is the same. So every application gets a route as well. So we have here burn.test. And the cool part is when you're used from Valet, you can do something like, if you go here inside, we could do something like Herd secure, and it would actually generate the SSL certificate for us. But let's stay here in the config and let's see how it's going on. Because we can go here on the sites table, look for our project that's called burn, and just secure it. Let's press on the lock screen here. Okay, I need to put the password. And now we already have an SSL certificate running with a top level domain, and that's really cool. And if you want, you can even isolate your PHP version. So currently I have 8.2 or 8.3 running, but you can change it per project base. So I have here a lot of projects here, and you can see you can just define a different PHP version for every project. And the nice part is with a single click, you can even install PHP version 8.1, 8.0, or even 7.4. And that's just one click and you already installed it. And it always stays up to date with the latest versions, also the latest minor versions. Yeah. And the cool part is when you see it here, I do PHP minus version. It will show I have the version 8.2 running here. And if I want to now test maybe the new version of PHP, I can just easily switch it, run it again. And you will see now I have the 8.3 release candidate already running. And I don't have to brew install PHP, get some weird repositories or whatever, include them, and hope the gods that brew installed everything correctly. I don't have to worry about anything. It's so nice working, it's integrated, and yeah, it works perfectly fine. Under the hood, Herd is doing following. Because we have here PHP and everything, but when we look at the path, you will see that the binaries are actually stored here in the application support folder under Herd. And you can find here the PHP. The same goes with Laravel. You will see the binaries here in the Laravel folder, in the Herd bin binary folder. And the same goes when we check Composer. So everything that we require to use Laravel or PHP is already pre-installed and already set in your path, and you have to do nothing for it. So you can just use PHP -v or Composer, requires some projects like Laravel Ray, and everything works right off the box. You don't have to install anything with brew, because when you look here inside, I have actually no services installed with brew, so there's nothing running. It's completely empty, and I don't even have Valet running, so I think it's version. So there's actually nothing running. I only have installed Laravel Herd, and that's already working, and my projects are up and running. Okay, so far, any questions?
Is Herd actually using Valet in the background, like you said? Or
Yeah. In the background, everything is actually Valet, but it's a wrapper around, just making an application around. Because you can use every command that you are used to. So you can use like Valet unsecure, you can use Valet secure, or you can use Herd share, like Valet share, to use expose and stuff like that. Okay, let me show you here in the settings. Because it's nicely also integrated with expose. And you even have something like nice shortcuts, because the team from Beyond Code did it. So I have like a shortcut to open Tinkerwell. When I do it, it will check which was the last site I visited. It was actually the burn site, and I can actually, you will see here, it's already in the repo. Or when I do the other shortcut, it will open my terminal, and it will already go inside my directory, which I am. So when I'm now switching between projects, I go to one project, the page is not working, then I can just open the terminal and just get right into it and get work done. And that's really cool. I love these two shortcuts. I actually use them all the time. And I think, did I forget something? Yeah, but now you will ask me, what about a database? Because Herd is not shipping any database. That's one thing as well. You can install it with Brew, but I found a nice application on Mac that's called DBngin. And actually, I'm using that for my local projects. As you can see, I have like a Redis cluster running and Postgres. And the cool part is you can just spin up MySQL as well, maybe on version 8 or 5.7. And that's pretty cool. So now for my local development, I just have two applications. I have on one side Herd, that's doing everything with nginx, PHP, that it's running. And on the other side, if I'm not just using SQLite, I can just use DBngin, and that's handling everything I have to do with databases or even with Redis. And I don't have to worry about anything and see if Brew gets someday destroyed, or for some reason any service is not running and I have no clue why, and I have to detect errors. And yeah, that's actually why I like Herd. And currently for my project, it's working great for my local projects. And yeah, that's everything I got for Herd. Do you have any questions so far? Yes, Manu. Yeah, so it's actually pretty easy, except you're using Xdebug or something like that. It even has a seamless migration from Valet, because when you install it the first time, it will detect, hey, you're using Valet, and just switch everything to it. And as you saw it here, it will even add your folders where you parked everything. So I have on the /sites, and it will add it also here, because the default location is on /herd. And yeah. It's even faster. It's faster. If you run your unit tests or PHP unit, you get some milliseconds better. Yeah, that's a funny thing about the extensions. So let's go to the documentation here. You can actually now add extensions, but the thing is you have to install it with Brew first. So you have to install Brew with PHP version, and afterwards with Peckle you can add extensions and go afterwards to your ini file and add the extension to it. It's kind of cumbersome currently because it defeats the whole purpose of Herd, because you're now using Brew again to install PHP and Peckle to install the extension. That's a bit, yeah, I think it's not completely ready. So if your projects are actually using some extensions that are not provided with Herd, yeah, it's going to be a little bit painful to migrate. Yeah. But for smaller projects and stuff like that, maybe it works really good. Yeah, Tom?
are there extensions provided for
Yeah, the default ones that are already working. Yeah, I have no clue. Like, XML, curl, SQLite extension, though. Yeah, I'm not sure which one. Yeah.
Is there a case where you would switching to Word from Valet?
Yeah, if you're using custom extension, I would currently not change it. If you use some extension that are, when Valet is currently working and you're not installing any additional extension, then you can easily switch to it. But if you're using in your PHP ini file any additional configuration, then it's, because it, in my mind, it defeats the purpose, because you have to install again with brew PHP and then install with Peckle. But if you have if you have projects that are not using any additional extensions that are provided with Word, then it's actually easier. Yeah. But it's a good question, what packages are actually installed. I have no clue. Okay, let's go. Because this was pretty fast, I want to show you one more thing. Let's go to this new project I have here. Oh. Because I want to show you how many of you use PHP Storm? Okay, a few of you, huh? And how many of you know the IDE plugin? And how many of you are using regularly the IDE plugin? Oh, okay. IDE, yeah, IDE or yeah, no, IDE. Because I found something interesting. I'm always generating like models, stuff like that, and the IDE plugin comes with a nice new feature. Well, I think it's maybe 1 month old or something, but I thought it's pretty cool because you can now create a model pretty easy. So if you got like a post model, we can say here it's a post and define all the fields for it. So maybe we have a title field, we say we have a body field, maybe that's text. Then we say we have a published add field, that's timestamp or something like that. Let's do it nullable. And maybe we have an authors field with a JSON. And the cool part is we can just say, hey, does it need soft deletes? Does it need fillable? Does it need factory? A JSON resource, API controller, form request, or policy? We can just activate everything because sometimes I have to actually generate every single file of them. And I can just easily generate them here. Okay, so let's see what's actually happening. We have now if some files generated. So if you go here inside Git status, you will see we have here 7 files generated. 1, 2, yeah, a few files. And you can see the migration is already running. We have all the fields that we defined here, the title, body, published at. When we go in the post model, it's the same. The fillable is already defined. Even the cast array is defined. So datetime, it's an array. When we look here inside, the factory is already defined with some values inside in it. And the cool part is when we look here, when we go here back, we have even a post controller with every RESTful route. So we have the index route, all 7 RESTful routes we have here. We have even a resource collection. It's also provided. The cool part is we have even, when we go to the post controller, we even have a form request. It's also provided with some basic input here. And I don't know how about you, but oftentimes I need to generate these classes. And even if you have a PHP artisan make model with maybe with the migration, with the factory, with the controller, and so on, it won't generate all the stuff like this new generator is doing. And maybe that's a cool tip if you've never seen it. I actually use it all the time to generate models, and it's pretty fast. Yeah. So if you don't use PHP Storm or the Laravel IDE plugin, maybe this is one thing to consider it, because I love working with it, because I generate so much code. And if you see here, there are so many other ways you can generate stuff like blade components or whatever you need, like a job, and it's really fast. And you can customize everything, how it would generate it, also in the configuration. Okay, that's everything I got for you today. Maybe yeah.
Yes, because I've never played with this. Say I have a domain-driven design.
Yeah.
Models aren't necessarily going into the model's home.
Yeah.
can I do that with this?
Yeah, let me find the configuration. Yeah, actually you can. You can change it here if you have some different different system from your like domain-driven design. You can change like where the namespace is, or even where the stuff is located. So even here where the base path from the controller is.
Set it in the settings before.
Yeah, you have to.
When I go to create a model, which domain I want it.
No, you can't. Well, you can choose maybe the path or something when you do like create model. Maybe you can choose a, don't know, domain post. Maybe this is working. Not sure. Let's try it out. Or let's go with flight. Does this work? And when I go here on the flight, yeah, it's under the domain namespace. So maybe you can work something like that. But yeah, if you got a domain-driven design, I think it's probably an edge case that's not provided here. But yeah, if you didn't try it, I find myself using the IDE plugin more and more. With like every time I use it, I find something more useful. So I wanted to show you today. And yeah, that's everything I got for you today. Thank you for your time. I hope you could learn one or two things.